Hi everyone! Today we're gonna see if this press can make our life easier. Vevor sent their leather cutting press with a 10.2 by 5.9 inch working area for us to test and review, so this video will be all about that. Quick disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video, so I'm free to share my honest opinion about this press. Times like this, I wish I worked out. This press weighs 27 kilos, so I needed some help picking it up and putting it on the bench. For someone stronger though, this will not be a big deal. The press came in a very well sealed wooden box. The box had metallic fasteners all around, and you'll definitely need a hand tool to release them. I used an old screwdriver and it worked just fine. Opening the box was a piece of cake. It literally took me 5 minutes to fully unpack the press. The package included the press, an instruction book, a spanner, a cutting board and a handle. The entire press is made of solid metal and it came in great condition. Now let's make a few adjustments. Level the top bar with the base of the press so they're perfectly parallel. We can easily do that by tightening the nuts until we reach the desired height. Make sure that you tighten the bottom nuts as well to ensure the stability of the press. The height of the bar depends on the thickness of the cutting dies you use. In my case, for 1.9 cm thick cutting dies, the distance between the top part and the base needs to be about 9.5 cm. The only part that comes separately is the handle. All you need to do is screw it in place. Lastly, place the cutting board on the base and you're ready to go. Overall, the first impression was very positive. The assembly was easy, the materials are high quality, it feels very durable, it's portable, and this particular model doesn't take up too much space. Let's see how it performs. First, let's test it with two different sizes of wooden stumps. We start by casing a scrap piece of wedge tanned leather and letting it sit for a couple of minutes before we use it. Since we've adjusted the height of the press for our cutting dies, we're gonna need a second cutting board for our stumps as they're much thinner. It's important to secure the stump in place, as we will need to move the cutting board and press a couple of times to achieve an even imprint. Let's see how easily the press can imprint a design of a 7.5 cm stump. I simply press and hold for a couple of seconds, and then turn the board around before I give it another press. The results are stunning. Look at the details. The imprint has the ideal depth, and you can actually see the texture of the wood. The machine did a great job with stamping. Let's cut out the design with a 7.5 cm cutting die and see how it performs while cutting. This sounds satisfying. I created a beautiful leather patch with smooth edges in literally 3 minutes. Now I will repeat the process with a 10 cm wooden stump. My stumps go up to 12 cm, so this is one of the larger ones. The only difference with the previous stump is that I needed to press 3 to 4 times to get this result. As before, the embossing is flawless. Keep in mind that the quality of the leather greatly impacts the final result. Cutting this one out required slightly more force, but just 2 presses were enough to cut all the way through. Regardless of the size of the stamp, the patch came out amazing. Since the press was able to handle a larger stamp, a smaller one shouldn't pose a challenge. However, let's make a logo tag and see how it looks. When using such small metal stamps, be careful not to apply too much force as they may rip the leather. Turning the board a couple of times and applying a little pressure results in an evenly embossed design. Cutting with such a small die is a piece of cake. Just think about how many of those you could make in just a few minutes. This is the cutting die for a card holder. Now that we know that the press can easily handle all the stamps and small cutting dies, let's take it to the next level with a more challenging project. To cut larger and more complicated designs, you'll need to do it in parts because placing the entire die under the press will not cut the leather effectively. Nice and clean cut once again. I chose to use my new 7.5 cm Raven stamp to decorate the card holder. Next, you can watch the rest of the process of completing this project. A leather cutting press is a must-have tool for any leather crafter. It can produce multiple products, allowing you to save both time and effort. Also, the results are always identical and perfectly shaped. The Vevor press is an affordable solution for embossing and cutting small projects. Easy to set up and made of high-quality materials, making it durable and dependable. As it is a hand tool, it doesn't require electricity like the large hydraulic presses. I often do workshops all around Greece, and this tool will be very convenient as I can bring it with me. The only downside I noticed is that if the press is not mounted on a bench, vibrations from use may cause the nuts to come loose and you need to tighten them from time to time. I highly recommend this press for both professionals and hobbyists for its versatility and affordability. If you like my content and are interested in the machine, you can place an order using the affiliate links in the description below as it supports my channel. Feel free to ask any questions you may have about this press in the comments below. Well, that's it for today. See you in the next one.